Assalamualaikum. So we'll start with the first topic, Introduction to Economics. Okay, in this particular topic, we will define what is economic, and then we will go with the economic concept, the economic problems, and the PPC, and lastly, the economic system. So I have allocated 2 weeks for this particular topic. Alright, so let's go for the first one. Definition of economics. So economics is a social science that studies how scarce productive resources are allocated efficiently. Okay, so here you can see here it is a social science. So what does it mean by social science? It's different from the science you go to the class, yang ambil science stream lah. Dia berbeza because social science is a study about human behavior, tingkah laku manusia. Okay, and why do we need to study about human behavior? Because in economic perspective, we have a problem of scarce productive resources. Okay, every country in the world has their productive resources, or we call this as factors of production. 4 of them basically. The first one is land, second one is labor, third one is capital, and the last one is entrepreneur. So this is the economics productive resources. So in economics, these resources are subject to scarcity. Scarcity means limited, meaning that as time goes by, when we use it, it will be gone. Okay, but the problem is these productive resources are the input that we use to produce humans' wants. Okay, the combination of these resources will produce output, which is in terms of goods and services. So this is the input. Okay, in economics, lands means, kalau kita translate, dia tanah, tapi dalam economic, lands means all natural resources, hasil alam semula jadi. So everything in the world that we did not create, everything being bestowed by our creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so will be considered as land. Okay, the second category of resources are labor. Labor is human lah. And syarat nak jadi labor, you must be able, capable, and have the ability and capability physically and mentally to do job, to produce goods. Okay, so this is labor. And the third one is capital. So biasa kalau you belajar kat sekolah, capital means money. Okay, but in economics, capital means machinery, goods to produce goods. So they have additional meaning for that. Okay, and last kali adalah entrepreneur. Okay, basically entrepreneur is also a person, but it's different compared to the labor because the entrepreneur is somebody who has skills to produce something, meaning that this person has knowledge to produce the goods and services. Let's say lah, to make it simpler, so that you can understand this. Okay, we would like to produce goreng pisang, for example. Okay, in order to produce goreng pisang, all of the input must be there. Okay, first of all, in terms of the land, the natural resources, the raw material we use to produce goreng pisang. Okay, so we need to have pisang, telur, semua bahan-bahan yang we use to produce goreng pisang. And apa lagi biasa you buat goreng pisang? Garam, minyak, and so on. Next is, we need labor. Because pisang tu tak boleh kopek diri dia sendiri, lepas terjun masuk dalam tepung, guling-guling, tak ada. Somebody must do that. Barulah benda tu terhasil. So this labor is the one who will do the cutting, do the goreng, and so on. Next is, we need to have capital. Meaning that the production aids, bantuan untuk menghasilkan goreng pisang tersebut. So nak potong pisang kena ada pisau. And then sebagai peniaga goreng pisang, kita tak adalah berniaga all of a sudden awak duduk tepi jalan macam tu je. Tak ada, you mesti ada gerai. So itu adalah semua capital. So, tong gas, kuali, so machinery, goods to produce goods. And last kali, we need to have entrepreneur. So who is this entrepreneur? Toke kedai goreng pisang tu, yang know precisely exactly how to combine land, labor, capital to produce output yang boleh dijual, boleh dimakan, which is goreng pisang, fried banana. Okay, beza dia, labor ni listen to the entrepreneur because labor has no knowledge whatsoever. Dia tak tahu pisang apa yang nak kena beli, level masak pisang tu macam mana, berapa banyak garam nak letak, berapa lama nak goreng. Labor tak tahu. Yang tahu yang boleh hasilkan goods ni adalah entrepreneur. So lacking of one of these input, ataupun kita panggil productive resources, ataupun kita panggil dia sebagai factors of production, no output or goods and services can be produced. So kalau tak ada land, tak ada raw material, macam mana nak hasilkan pisang? Pisang tak ada. Tiba-tiba dia bekerja, ada bahan untuk membantu, ada entrepreneur, tak jadi kan? Same goes kalau dia ada land, labor, capital tapi tak ada entrepreneur. Maybe ada goreng pisang, tapi goreng pisang tu maybe tak edible, tak boleh dimakan. Kalau tak ada capital pula, macam mana kita nak goreng kalau kita tak ada kuali, tak ada tong gas and so on. So everything must be there in order to produce the final product, which is the goods and services, the output there. Okay, the thing is, this thing is limited, scarce. Meaning that as time goes by, when we use it, it will be gone. For example, petroleum in our country. Before, we have lots. Sampai kata bergenerasi, kita pun tak akan habis penggunaan petroleum kita. Tapi bila dah kita cari gali, kita jual, keep selling, now we'll almost finish our petroleum. So what happened there? If we did not have any petroleum, macam mana kereta kita nak berjalan? So inilah isu yang economic kena address. How to solve this problem. That's why these days nampak banyak hybrid car, solar car yang did not use petrol. So that is the solution for the problem of scarcity, which is the limited in terms of the resources. So inilah economic. It is a study of how we use the productive resources in terms of land, labor, capital, entrepreneur to try to fulfill the unlimited wants of the people. Okay, manusia ni dia tak pernah terbatas apa yang dia nak. Kalau boleh, semua orang nak rumah banglo. For example, in Singapore, semua orang nak landed house. Why? Siapa nak duduk rumah tingkat-tingkat kan? Kalau lift rosak, tiba-tiba kita rumah tingkat 21. What happen? It will be very inconvenient, right? So everybody prefer to have banglo, ada laman, ada rumah sebuah. Tapi in Singapore, the problem is the country is too small. The population there is too big. So bila dah terlampau besar sangat populasi orang dia, rakyat dia, they cannot build landed house for everybody. It's impossible. Kalau dia buat macam gitu, dia tak akan cukup tempat untuk buat rumah. Everybody cannot have one house for their own. So that's why there, kita nampak solution yang ekonomi cari, even though you have a piece of land, you can still accommodate the needs of the people. Macam mana buat dia? You buat rumah bertingkat. For example, flat, apartment, condominium. With a piece of land, you can accommodate hundreds, thousands of family. So this is how economics solve the problem. Alright, the second one is from the Islamic perspective. Okay, kita tengok tadi daripada conventional perspective. Now from the Islamic perspective. A social science, sama juga. Okay, a science that study about human behavior, which studies the economic problems of the people. Okay, so Islam acknowledge that people has economic problem, but we must solve it with the imbued with Islamic values. Maksudnya masukkan sekali Islamic values, meaning that the religion and economy cannot be separated. Kalau in conventional perspective, religion is religion, economy is economics. There are two separate entity. Tapi dalam Islam, must come together with the religion. So everything you want to do, you want to solve the problems of economics, you must install the Islamic value in there. So must not go against the Quran and Sunnah, the rules and regulation of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because our main target is to achieve al-falah for our hereafter. Bukan kita nak hidup kat dunia sahaja. Okay, so in Islamic perspective, they have social science, but they don't have scarcity. Meaning that in Islam, there is no issue about scarcity. Okay, so in Islam, what Allah bestowed to us is more than enough. So meaning that the land, labor, capital, entrepreneur Allah bagi kat kita ni, all the natural resources in the world, the people, the capital, everything belongs to Allah. Even though you kata capital ni kita yang cipta kan, missionary, tapi siapa yang bagi otak kat kita untuk mengilhamkan penciptaan tu? Entrepreneur pun Allah yang cipta. So everything belongs to Allah. And in Islam, the concept of scarcity, limited resources, is non-existent. Tak wujud. Tak boleh kata. Salah. Why? Because Allah is perfect. Allah won't do anything yang menyusahkan us. Okay, so kalau kita acknowledge in Islam ada problem of scarcity, kita acknowledge yang Allah ni lemah, menghasilkan sesuatu yang tidak cukup untuk semua orang. Pernah kau nampak orang mati sebab tak mampu nak bernafas, sebab udara limited? Tak ada. Itu adalah semua filem science fiction sahaja. So what Allah bestowed to us is more than enough. The problem is with the human. So apa problem human? Humans punya problem, we don't have time, knowledge, and capability to explore the resources that Allah gives to us. Okay, semuanya berlaku disebabkan kelemahan manusia. First, we don't have time. Dulu kita tak tahu pun kereta boleh digerakkan dengan solar, sebelum ada kereta solar. Okay, so apa yang kita buat? Kita risau, takut petroleum habis. Tapi macam mana? Kereta tak bergerak lah walaupun kita ada kereta. So macam itu. As time goes by, when we have time, we discover the knowledge. Okay, same goes here. Knowledge. We don't have knowledge. And we don't have the capability. Alright, so semua tu berlaku kerana kelemahan manusia. So bear in mind, right, kalau if you explain about the Islamic perspective, the meaning of economics, please don't ever mention about the problem of scarcities. Islam does not acknowledge scarcities. Okay, let's go for the second one, economic branches. Bidang, cabang economics. The study of economics are divided into two important branches, which is microeconomics and macroeconomics. Beza dekat sini je, the spelling. This one is with I, this one with A. Okay, so what does it mean? Microeconomics is the study of decision making by individual parts of the economy as household, firm and government. So basically, microeconomics adalah focusing on a specific entity, small matters. For example, I'm saying I would like to study the pattern of spending of Muhammad. So I'm focusing on one person. So dia akan jadi isu micro. Micro means small. Okay? While macroeconomics is the study of the economy as a whole. Ini secara menyeluruh. Ini individual. Okay? So, the study of the economy as a whole, such as, secara menyeluruh tu maksudnya you study bidang ekonomi country specific. So, biasanya about the unemployment rate, kadar pengangguran negara, inflation rate, and also international trade. This is among the issue lah on economics, on macroeconomics. Okay? So hopefully you can differentiate what does it mean by micro and macro. Okay, so banyak tak semestinya dia adalah macro. For example, I would like to see the pattern of spending of UiTM student. So ramai kan UiTM student dalam Malaysia, ada kat Sabah Sarawak lagi. So bila you total up, plenty of them, 1,000 of them, 100,000 of them. The problem is that one is still the issue of micro, bukan macro. Yang ni micro. Why? Because I am focusing on a specific entity, which is UiTM only. So dia tak menyeluruh. So kalau you nak jadikan dia isu makro, you kena menyeluruh. I would like to see the pattern of spending of all university students in Malaysia. So bukan fokus pada UiTM je, kita fokus semua sekali, UIA, UPM and so on. Then isu tu akan jadi isu makro. Okay, so let's move. 3 basic economics concept. Okay, first of all is scarcity. This one I already mentioned it before, right? The resource available, which is the land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, are limited. Therefore, society has to make choice. Kita kena buat pilihan lah. With the limited resources, what will we do with the limited resources? Okay, ini nak bagi you lagi faham. Let's do it with example lah. For example, dia UiTM Dungun kan, kita cuma ada a piece of land left in the campus. Tak ada dah. Tanah yang lain tu semua dah fully utilised dah. Kita dah bina benda yang sepatutnya dah. Tak ada dah. Ada satu piece of land je sebelah HEA. Contoh dia. Alright. And this is the issue of scarcity because dia tak abundant, dia tak ada banyak, dia ada satu je, a piece of land. Scarcity. Alright. And the thing is, pihak pengurusan UiTM dah melakukan survey kepada student dan banyak permintaan daripada student. Daripada survey tu, we found out that some student ask for cafeteria, macam food court macam tu, yang ada belaka. Sebab sekarang ni kita cuma ada Starbucks yang jual makanan siap je. Kita tak ada makanan panas ke, nasi-nasi yang proper tu tak ada. So they would like to have a food court there. Mudah. Nanti kalau ada kelas pagi petang tak perlu balik, boleh makan kat situ je, tak perlu cari makanan kat luar. So itu yang the student ask for. And then ada student pula minta, susah lah sebab tak ada tempat nak beli materials untuk study. For example, kita ada kedai siswa tapi very limited. Dia nak macam Pustaka Suri Intan tu atau Kinokuniya yang perfect, ada belaka kat situ. So you nak kertas graf ada, you nak pen ada, macam-macam jenis ada, you nak buku teks pun ada kat situ. You tak perlu travel keluar kampus untuk ke bandar Dungun ke untuk mencari materials. Okay, so ada 2 choice there. Okay, Sebab itulah society has to make choice. Dia tak boleh, oh tak apalah, with a piece of land kita bina food court dan juga kedai stationery yang student nak. Cannot, because the piece of land can accommodate only one. That's why dia kata the society has to make choice. And then we go for the second concept is choice. To choose the best among the alternative uses the resources can provide. So here you need to choose. Pihak pengurusan UiTM, because we have two choice there, either food court ataupun satu lagi kedai stationery, dia pilih. So macam mana dia pilih? According to the most needed by the student. So dia kata tak apalah kalau kedai stationery tu kita dah ada kursi siswa tu walaupun kecil, at least ada kan. Most student go to, majority wants to have food court there. So this is choice. We choose one. Okay, so bila kita dah pilih, dia akan involve foregone cost. Foregone cost tu maksudnya cost yang kita terpaksa lepaskan. So the other name for foregone cost adalah opportunity cost. It is the foregone cost of not choosing the other alternative uses. So once you choose to produce food court there, apakah alternatif yang terpaksa lepaskan? Kedai stationery. Because you cannot produce both. Alright? So this is the concept of opportunity cost. The choice yang you tak pilih tu akan menjadi cost lepas dia. Okay? And you boleh juga cerita dari segi konsep scarcity ni in terms of yang dekat lagi dengan student. For example, scarcity of money. Every day you need to spend 10 ringgit only. So that is the maximum amount of money you have. But you have several wants. First, you want to go to the cinema to watch movie. 10 ringgit. Second, you want to have lunch. Third, you want to buy graph paper. Everything worth 10 ringgit. Okay? So, you have limitation here, scarcity, because your money is only 10 ringgit. Kalau you nak semua sekali, you need to have 30 ringgit. So, you choose which one yang will satisfy you lah. So, most students, if I ask this question, they will go with makan, buy lunch. Okay. So, once you already choose one, the other choice too will become the opportunity cost. Cost yang you terpaksa lepaskan. If you choose to eat lunch, you terpaksa lepaskan wayang dan you terpaksa lepaskan beli kertas graph. Okay, very simple concept. Next is 3 economics problem. Okay, actually kadang-kadang tu kita ada tambahan for whom to produce, how much to produce. Kadang-kadang tu dia 3, kadang-kadang tu dia boleh jadi 4. How much and for whom to produce. How much satu, for whom to. Okay, 3 economics problems. First of all is what to produce. So, since the resources are scarce, society has to decide what to produce based on the needs of the people. Okay, so take for example, sebidang tanah je left in Terengganu, and then it is an issue of scarcity, right? So what should the government do with the land? The government will do a survey. Okay, ask the people what do they need most, and some say they would like to have a big shopping mall macam KLCC kejap Mid Valley lah macam itu. Okay, lepas tu survey lagi yang dilakukan, ada yang ask for another university. Rasa tak cukup sebab ramai sangat student kat Terengganu ni yang pandai, so tak cukup kota, tak cukup tempat, tak dapat kemasukan. So they ask for IPTA. Survey yang lain pula, ada yang minta home, house, because we have 20 family of homeless yang masih duduk bawah jambatan. So, they don't have house. Dia beranak pinak di situ. Okay, dalam 3 choice ni, the government need to decide what to produce. Which one? Yang paling most needed within society lah. Of course, the government will do the choice yang membela rakyat, which is build up houses for the homeless. Takkan kita nak biar dia berumah tangga bawah jambatan tu sampai bila-bila. Okay? After we have decided what to produce, we go for the second one, how to produce. So how to produce, it's a method of producing the product. So we have decided to produce house for homeless. Now, we need to decide the method of producing the house. It's either capital intensive or labor intensive. We have 2 choice only. Capital intensive or labor intensive. What does it mean? Capital intensive means that we use machinery to produce the product. Tak pernah terdengar, madam, buat rumah guna mesin. Kalau negara kita developing country, negara membangun, benda tu adalah rare. Tapi kalau you go for the developed country, negara high income country, negara maju, they prefer to build up houses with machinery. Maksudnya guna banyak crane besar-besar instead of guna a human capability. Sebab itulah bila diorang bina something, take for example the case of coronavirus kan. In China, they build up hospital for how many weeks? 7 days, right? Ke 2 weeks? Macam itulah, I forgot already. So see here, the technology. Kalau kita, hospital kita 2-3 tahun, 4 tahun pun belum tentu siap, because we are using labor intensive. Okay, so choose the method. It's either labor or intensive, maksudnya menggunakan human capability, or capital intensive, menggunakan machinery to produce the product. And whichever method to be chosen should be the least cost. Maksudnya yang menggunakan kos yang paling rendah, cost effective, the cheapest method. We will use the cheapest method. So developed country, negara membangun, negara maju, the cheapest method will be capital intensive, using machinery, because the wages, gaji of the people there is very high. So for example, you want to build up a very tall building, if you choose to hire labor, it will be very costly in high income country, developed country. But for developing, negara membangun, okay, the wages and salaries of the workers is much cheaper. The thing is, if you want to buy machinery yang besar-besar macam crane tu, itu yang lebih mahal di negara membangun. So that's why developing country mostly prefer labor intensive because it's cheaper, while developed country prefer capital intensive because it's cheaper there. Okay, and last one, how much to produce. So we need to decide. Of course, we know we want to buy house. We want to build up houses for the homeless. We will use labor intensive, answering the second question. And how much to produce? So we need to decide how many house for them, how many family they are. They have 20 family there. Of course, we need to build up a house for each of them. Bukan buat rumah panjang untuk everybody duduk. Dia akan menimbulkan satu masalah baru pula. Okay, for whom to produce? We already decide the house is for the homeless. So we have many types of houses, right? Kita ada bungalow, condominium, apartment. So which one is most suitable for the homeless? It will be flat. Kalau you build up condo or apartment, it doesn't fit the purpose, because apartment dengan condo tu, siapa yang boleh afford to purchase? The high income, people yang ada pendapatan, bukan those homeless. So kita build up something yang can be affordable by the government, and mostly government will go for flat lah, because it can accommodate more family and it is cheaper. Okay, so the distribution issue on who should get the product, high or low income, either the product is produced to be sold locally or to be exported. Okay, so this is the 3 things I would like to highlight in this particular part for topic 1. Next, I'll go for PPC, but I'll teach this in the second teaching video. I would like to show the past year's question for the 3 things that I explained before. Okay, as you can see here, this is what we call as a structure question. So this is the past year's question, example of past year's question. We will have 3 types of question. The first one is multiple choice question. Soalan ABC lah, you pilih. Macam soalan you pilih either the answer A, B or C. So this you're very familiar with this thing, right? And then we will have second types of question which we call as short answer question ataupun structure question. Mean that they have a big question there. Okay, and they have anak-anak pula, soalan-soalan kecil yang ditanya. And soalan-soalan ni, the answer for this question is very simple, straightforward answer, bukan yang berkarangan semua, tak ada. Okay, so this is short answer question. So this is also short answer question, sebab dia ada anak-anak bawah tu kan. And the last type of question we have is essay question. Okay, so essay question ni adalah question yang memerlukan you mengarang, even though this one is not subject bahasa ke English ke tak. We have essay questions so that you can apply the way to explain something. Okay, so normally essay question worth 10 marks. So ini yang saya buka ni yang lama ni, tahun 2006 punya soalan. Lama dah, sebab tu dia 2 dengan 8. Tapi these days all essay question worth 10 marks. So you need to mengarang and give the answer for 10 marks lah. Okay, so I give this one PYQ topic 1, meaning that past year's question topic 1. This is all the question in the past years. Macam for example, this one is the past year's question in 2006, right? So they combine belaka. The question from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So kalau I ask you to do this, it's not relevant. I just teach you how to answer chapter 1, right? So you tak boleh nak identify lagi mana satu soalan chapter 1, mana satu soalan chapter 2. It will be very confusing. So what did I do? I cut. Saya dah cut dah soalan tu mengikut chapter. So ini semua adalah daripada chapter daripada past years. Maybe yang di tahun 2017 punya past years, ini adalah tahun 2018 punya past years. So saya cut, letak setempat je. Untuk topic 1 ni semua past years yang saya cut, I compile in topic 1 to make it easy for you to assess the question on topic 1. Okay, so the 3 scarcity, choices and opportunity cost, the question will be asked on essay question. Okay, so let's look at the essay question. First of all, they ask you to define opportunity cost. We just learned now. Opportunity cost is the foregone cost of not choosing the other best alternative. Kalau you tulis foregone cost je, you won't get full mark. So please write down the full sentence for that. The full meaning of opportunity cost, the foregone cost of not choosing the other best alternative. And then dia kata, with the aid of diagrams, explain how opportunity cost will influence the shape of PPC. We haven't learned this, so I'll focus with chapter something yang soalan yang memang kita dah belajar yang 3 tu. Okay, differentiate the concept of scarcity from Islamic perspective and conventional perspective. See, I already explained in the teacher video before. Okay, in Islam there is no scarcity. They did not acknowledge the concept of scarcity, because if we acknowledge that scarcity existed, meaning that we acknowledge that Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala has flaws. He created something yang not enough for everybody. So apa yang masalah dia? Human is lacking in terms of capability, time and knowledge to discover the resources already given to Allah by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala in the world. While in the conventional perspective, scarcity existed because in conventional perspective, all resources provided in the world, as time goes by, if we use, at the end it will be finished. So you need to story this. 5 marks for the Islamic perspective and 5 marks for the conventional perspective. So make sure you mengarang. Jangan expect 5 ayat then you get full marks. No. Okay, so we would like to see how you try to answer this particular question, essay question. So this one is not yet. Alright, let's go for question 4. Outline the 3 fundamentals economic question faced by all economics in the world. Discuss all economics. So this one is not yet because this one relates to economic system. Okay, we can do this. No, not also because this one is relates with a PPC. It's okay. KIV nanti kita buat. Alright, we cannot answer this one. We can answer the question below. Kenapa dalam satu soalan banyak sangat question ni, madam? Question 6 tapi ada banyak ni. Maksud saya kat sini, ini adalah soalan daripada tahun lain. Ini adalah soalan daripada tahun lain, tapi dia membawa kepada jawapan yang sama. Dan cara tanya dia tu berbeza. Sebab tu saya kumpulkan bawah satu question. So macam ni kan, you tengok kan. Sorry, not this one. Saya cari yang relevant. Okay. This one also the same question. Tapi yang tadi lah quote ends. Sebab yang lain baru satu-satu lah. Ya. Free market capitalist is the same economic system, but we haven't learned that. This one. This one is also the same question, different question. So maybe I need to alter this one. It's okay. We just focus on a question we can answer. Alright. So here kita, this one is not yet. Alright. Discuss the 3 economic concept. You know the economic concept. Jangan confuse economic problem, economic concept. Economic concept, scarcity, choices and opportunity cost. Tapi dia nak suruh explain economic concept using PPC. I haven't teach you PPC, so I'll explain this question later. Okay. Define microeconomics. Tadi, the social science that studies about human behavior. Okay, social science is basically studies about human behavior. You don't need to mention it again. The social science that study about how limited resources are used to fulfill the unlimited wants of the human. So you must explain that. And microeconomics ni adalah the study of the decision by individual parts of the economy, such as household, firms and the government. Alright, lepas tu dia kata 3 basic economic concept with 1 example each. Yang ni lah you kena cerita scarcity apa, choices apa, opportunity cost apa. The problem is dia nak example, so make sure you state the example. Macam saya kata lah tadi, for example scarcity in terms of money. So you boleh relate daripada awal. Scarcity bila money tak ada, you ada banyak pilihan, then you kena go for the second choice tu apa daripada pilihan-pilihan yang you ada. Nak pergi wayang, nak pergi beli buku manual. So bila you choose one, you akan involve the last concept, which is opportunity cost, the foregone cost. You kena lepaskan pilihan yang you tak pilih. Okay, so that's it. I think please try the question in here so that you know whether you understand it or not. And you cannot expect I will explain everything 100%. You should show your own effort also. Right? So this is our first teaching video. Thank you for listening.